You have to grow from the inside out. None can teach you. None can make you spiritual. There is no other teacher but your own soul. There is no other teacher but your own soul. Every walk that we do, every movement of the body, every thought that we observe leaves an impression on the mind. Every thought registered leaves an impression on the mind. Every movement of the body and every thought leaves an impression on the mind. The mind is but the subtle part of the body. Every thought leaves an impression on the mind. Welcome our respected young participants. Welcome to Youth Talk venue Swami Vivekananda Ancestral House. And today it's a continuation of our previous session. We received number of queries from various young participants, predominantly from Delhi Study Circle as well as from Hyderabad Study Circle, relating to positive self-affirmation and positive self-talk. Today it's more or less a technical session where we will be highlighting on the objective of positive self-talk, positive self-affirmation, why, and the pattern as well as the process of positive self-talk as well as positive self-affirmation. So today mostly we will be concentrating on why and how, objective as well as the process. And this is what you all have asked us. Because we are just going as per the queries received from all of you all. That's extremely thank you. All of you all have given plenty of messages. You all are actually taking positive self-talk affirmation seriously. That's great to hear. So we will be entirely concentrating on which areas of life, on which areas of our performance we need to continuously talk with oneself. Self-chattering is continuous. It's a continuous process. It's happening naturally. But positive self-talk, we got to be conscious about it. And we got to concentrate on some of the very important areas of our existence. Now, self-affirmation, positive self-affirmation and self-affirmation. Affirmation, as the name suggests, it is firmly stating something. Whenever we are firmly talking with oneself, whenever we are firmly stating something, that is affirmation. And we will be concentrating on positive self-affirmation. Means positively we are stating, we are interacting with oneself in a positive mode. In a positive mode, we are interacting with oneself about oneself. That is positive self-affirmation. Now, our great master, Swami Vivekananda, emphasized extremely on self-knowledge, on self-realization, on unfoldment. As per him, he stated that life is a journey. Life is a continuous process. Swami Vivekananda emphasized in a big way, emphasized highly that life is a continuous process of unfoldment and development. So life is a continuous process of unfoldment and development. Unfoldment means that it's within us. We got to manifest it. We got to bring it out. That is it. So, one of the main objectives of positive self-talk or positive self-affirmation got to be that we must search ourselves. We must search our self-identity and self-image. That's the most important aspect. Self-identity and self-image. Regarding self-image, you all must have observed it, that what we used to think about self-image. What is about self-image? From our childhood, whenever we are asked, who are you? Are we really answering who we are? It's not that. Mostly we used to answer that what we are. We are somebody asking us, who are you? But we are answering what we are. That is the factor, self-image. So, self-affirmation, positive self-affirmation and positive self-talk, one of the main objective got to that we must search our self-image. We must remind ourselves each and every time. We must remind ourselves that we got to search our self-image. Another very important aspect of performance, and a very important aspect of performance, you all know to some extent, because regarding so many times, all of us got the same input, all of us got the same information, that we need to work as per our passion. But are we, try to think with a calm mind, are we aware about our passion in that way? If we are not fixing up our self-identity, as well as if we are not fixing up our self-image, then will it be possible for us to fix up, to understand, as well as to realize, as well as to observe our passion? Is it possible? Just think calmly, and just think with a calm mind. Now, what is passion? To some extent, how to search. And one of the positive self-talk, one of the aspect of self-talk must be to remind us that we must search the passion in us. We must search, we must drill down to see, to observe the passion. We must search the passion in us. Now, passion is any strong emotion. Whenever we are passionate about a particular work, whenever we are passionate about a particular activity, we used to find ourselves in that activity. Whenever we are finding ourselves in a particular activity, it means that we are working as per our passion. So that search must be there. We must remind ourselves each and every day, each and every time, each and every hour, we must remind ourselves that, come on, search your own passion. We must remind ourselves that, come on, you are a passionate human being. So search it. Try to recognize your passion. Try to realize your passion. That's extremely important. Now, if passion happens to be any strong emotion, just we got to observe and just we got to concentrate. We got to concentrate on our thought process. Because what's the pattern? What's the pattern of this thinking process? What's the chain of this thinking process? Whenever we are thinking anything, our thought process, whenever we are creating any thought, and that is actually we are creating thought in a spontaneous way. Every time, every hour we are creating, we are having inner chattering, we are actually conversing with us, we are actually having inner conversation, continuous inner conversation and inner chattering. And whenever we are doing it, we are actually creating some sort of thought. And once that thought is created, just within few seconds, just within fraction of seconds, a feeling is also created. Thought creates feeling. Try to just understand. Try to feel now. Any thought creates a feeling, and whenever that feeling is created, we tend to observe it. It's not possible, or rather it is not easy to observe the thought level until and unless the thought is transferred into feeling. And it's a natural process. Whenever there is thought, thought is transferred into feeling. And that feeling actually controls our attitude. So thought manifests feeling. Thought manifests feeling. And that feeling controls our attitude. And our attitude actually encourages us. Rather, our attitude is transferred into our action. So see, this is the chain. So this is the chain. So we need to remind ourselves, positive self-talk got to be in that way. That is, we need to remind ourselves that be careful and just observe whatever you're thinking. So the main objective got to be positive thought process. Each and every time negativity creeps up. That's a natural thing. That's natural. It is happening naturally. Each and every time actually negativity creeps up. So if we need to wash out that negative attitude, that negative approach, we must give counter positive attitude. We must replace our negativity through our positive thought process. Positive thought process, not only positive action. So we got to remind ourselves every time that the thought process got to be positive. The thought process got to be positive. Passion, which is one of the most important aspects for performing at the highest level. If we really want to perform above average, if we really want to perform in an above average way, then we need to work on our passion. And passion is basically imbibed. It got to be revived. Such a strong statement. Passion is imbibed. It got to be revived. Revived means it must be taken out. We must unfold it. That's why our great teacher Swami Vivekananda stated that life is a continuous process of development and unfoldment. And we need to remind ourselves each and every time. We need to remind ourselves, we need to talk with ourselves in a positive mode, and we must remind ourselves that we need to unfold. Everything is within us. We are that. Everything is within us. Happiness is within us. Concentration is within us. Patience is within us. Extreme willpower is within us. We need to unfold it. The positive thought process, the positive reminding must be towards that area. Unfolding. We must remind ourselves that please unfold. Please try to unfold. At least for a few minutes in a day, we must try to unfold. We must try to think about oneself. That is the most important aspect of positive thought process. Reminding oneself that just spend time with oneself. Reminding oneself that we need to unfold. We need to concentrate on ourselves. Extremely. That is most important. So, some of the main areas, those areas are extremely important, like self-image, self-identity, and self-discipline. In number of times we have seen number of sportsmen talking with oneself. A batsman playing a bad shot and then talking, don't play, leave the ball. A tennis player after just hitting a wrong service says, come on, properly. What they're saying, they are actually saying about discipline. So one of the main aspects of our positive self-affirmation as well as about positive self-talk got to be about discipline. Got to be about discipline. We must remind ourselves that we need to maintain that discipline. What we have fixed it up. We have fixed our own goal. We have fixed our own objective, our own path. We got to stick to it. We must remind ourselves. So self-discipline, that portion is extremely important. Reminding ourselves each and every time about self-discipline. What we have fixed it up. So see, these are the pattern of our thought process. These are the pattern. Self-image, self-identity, most important, and then it is slowly coming. Self-image, self-identity, self-discipline, Another aspect that we got to remind ourselves each and every time, my respected friends, each and every time we got to remind ourselves about showing gratitude. We got to show gratitude. We got to remind each and every time. Then only we will be able to unfold ourselves. That extreme power which is within us, then only we will be able to unfold that power. That is so much important. That is so much important. Reminding each and every time. Reminding each and every time. And if we really want to counter our negative thought process, our negative inner chattering, our negative conversation, then we got to remind these things, because these are very positivity. These are very positive attitude within us. We tend to think that happiness is not, we are not part of happiness. Happiness is not within us. We used to think, or we tend to think, that our happiness is dependent on any other human being, or in any other area, or in any other material. No way. Our happiness is actually within us. That's why we are Amritasya Putraha, children of immortal bliss, happiness. Highest happiness. But we tend to think that is an ignorance level. But if this is just an information that we are part of happiness, happiness is part of us, we are the children of immortal bliss, that's an information. But if we remind ourselves each and every time, then we will be able to realize it, that actually happiness is part of us. We are not limited. We are complete. We are complete. But we got to remind ourselves each and every time that we are complete. We are complete. We got to remind ourselves each and every time. We got to remind ourselves that our identity is not limited. We got to remind ourselves that we are all passionate human beings. We need to search our passion. We need to search our passion. We need to search our passion. We got to remind ourselves. We got to remind ourselves that discipline is part of us. Whatever path we are following, whatever objective we have fixed it up, whatever goal, whatever vision we have created, we got to stick to it. Concentration is part of us, but we got to remind ourselves after 10 minutes or after 5 minutes, we got to remind ourselves through positive self-talk that, come on, you have got the ability to concentrate. That should be the pattern of our positive self-talk. That got to be the pattern of our positive self-affirmation. That we do have extreme concentration level. We do have extreme ability. We do have extreme ability and extreme willpower. So we got to concentrate about our self-identity, because those things are within us. That's why our great teacher Swami Vivekananda emphasized on unfoldment. Life is a continuous process of development and unfoldment, because those things are within us. We got to manifest it. We got to unfold those dimensions in us. Those dimensions are actually within us. So our positive self-talk, we've got to follow that pattern. We must remind ourselves our identity, our self-image, our discipline, as well as about our passion. We must remind ourselves each and every time. We must remind ourselves. As per the great Greek philosopher Socrates, mind is not a vessel to be filled. Mind is not a vessel to be filled, but a fire to be kindled. A fire to be recognized. That is it. He referred that should be the objective. Extreme fire is within us. We got to unfold it. We got to realize it, and we got to recognize it. And that is the most important aspect of self-chattering. Self-chattering is a continuous process. We just got to be consciously interacting with oneself about our positivity. Those positivities are within us. So that must be the main objective. And maybe for next 10 days, just try to experiment with your thought process. My respected young participants, just for coming 10 days, just try to maintain these. Just remind yourself. We got to remind ourselves early in the morning and towards the night that we are part of the entire cosmos. We are Satchidananda, we are Amritashaputra, we are Aham Brahmasmi. We got to remind ourselves extreme happiness is actually within us. We got to remind ourselves. Just try for next 10 days. Just go on reminding yourself. At least try four times, 5 times. Just go on reminding oneself for 10 days, and you will see the difference. You will be able to realize the difference and nothing else. We got to maintain it. We got to talk with ourselves regarding self-discipline. Just for coming 10 days, try it. Experiment with your life. We got to experiment with our own life. It's a normal thing. So try to maintain that positive self-affirmation, that positive self-talk for coming 10 days, and you will find the difference. You will find the difference. It's a normal process. So thank you very much, my young participants, and just believe. We all are part of this highest energy. We are all Aham Brahmasmi. We are all Amritasya Putraha. We are all. Just try to realize it and nothing else. Thank you. You have to grow from the inside out. None can teach you. None can make you spiritual. There is no other teacher but your own soul. There is no other teacher but your own soul.